What's up, YouTube? People tell me about night terrors all the time, or bad dreams in general. And Inception. They always want to know about Inception, how it feels. I'm going to just speak on how it felt for me. When it came to Inception, the person that performed Inception on me was someone who knows themselves to a crazy degree. This person was my father from another time. And at first I felt like it broke like a boundary, like of trust or whatever, and then I had to just accept it as him trying to unlock something inside of me. Either way, Inception just felt like, for me, like somebody almost whispering in your ear constantly throughout your conscious day, like somebody scratching at the back of your eyeballs, like something that's not understood, but it's not like a whisper. It's almost like an internal shouting. But I can't. It's like difficult to explain. Like it's all right. I feel like a lot of Inception, a lot of it is done via trauma, though. Like again, with night terrors and bad dreams. Anytime you don't remember something, it's likely that trauma occurred. Trauma makes us forget. Whether you died awake, and then you were birthed in a hospital, you were circumcised, hit with vaccines, all that whole process, that's what makes us forget our timeless self. And we identify with the body because pain is being sent from the body. It makes us identify with the body so much that in these other layers it's no different. As the subject and not the object, not the bodies that we are in, or the fragments of the body, or in the different layers. When we go into these other layers, when our conscious awareness goes into these other layers, when our awareness might slip from this wavelength into another, or whatever the case may be, into what we call a past life, or another time, whatever. It's all now. But anyway, when you're forgetting a dream, a lot of it has to do with the food. Again, the food is just such a foundation. Like it's almost like a roofie. You're eating some garbage, or eating something in general that's going to make you lethargic. All food should make you energized. That's what, fuel is fuel, or medicine. That's what food is. So, anytime you eat something that makes you lethargic, then you sleep on it. It should be a 4 or 5 hour gap between your last meal and sleep. So people are going to sleep with the roofie, with the food, processing the food, so much light being processed that they're not in control of the tools being the mind and the body. So because the pancreas, again, is the gateway to the soul, to the body. So any disembodied being, especially at bad times, like if it's a new moon, you go to sleep on the roofie, on the food, and then some people are vegetating on the food and drugs and prescription meds and all different types of things. So anyway, you're going to sleep, pancreas is distracted, so something can slip into the tools, the mind and the body. So you're going into these other layers with this passenger. Anybody that watches Dexter, Dark Passenger, whatever, or I should say light passenger. So you're going into these other layers with this passenger, unwarranted passenger, and they have control over the tools. It's like a backseat driver, or somebody that just knocked you out and threw you in the back seat. So now you don't have the control you would over the creative abilities of the tools, of the body. That's energy. Will is nothing without energy. Will needs energy to make things manifest. Again, like money. You trade your energy for this paper money, which is a dense form of energy, and you make a car manifest, or whatever the case may be. But it started out as a thought, and then you just took the steps accordingly to get the car. But you're exchanging energy, dense energy, to make something manifest. So it's all the same. Somebody gets control of your body, your energy body, at any level, any layer, they have control over your tool. And if they get it inside the mind, and they're in that tool, and they're using it as thoughts to spark alchemy, because again, if you create, you start a thought, you hear the thought, then you see the thought, then the will gets the energy and motion and makes it manifest. So it's heard, seen, the will puts it in motion. See, this is with Inception. With natural, anything, thoughts from the self, when the true self is trying to show you something, it's all visual. Whether it be dreaming, daydreaming, different things like that. It's all visual. So that's the true self. It's visual. It's seen and not heard. Like if someone says, I believe I saw that man kill that man, that there's some doubt. But if they say, I know, I saw it, then there's no doubt. It's like a hearsay. You hear it, then you don't know it. So it's the same thing with Inception and with Night Terrors. They go hand in hand, basically, because if you're being traumatized and maybe you're being shown something 3/4 of the way through this so-called dream or trance state, you're being shown something and something's being injected into your subconscious mind that, you know, maybe towards the end of it or even in the beginning you're frightened or traumatized, and then that anxiety and fear creates massive amounts of energy, and that energy is used to create something. And then again, we are the fruit of the universe. The dense physical is the fruit, so it manifests into the physical eventually. It manifests accordingly. Like, you know, like I said, if your dream house is on an island somewhere and you don't do everything that you have to do to get there, the self does show you how to get there. If you don't do all, you have some missteps. You know, you might be somewhere in Miami Beach instead of somewhere in Key West, whatever the case may be. All I'm saying is that that's how creation is started, from a visual thought and so on. But with Inception, it's someone coming in, because it's not the true self. It's the will and awareness of another injecting something into your subconscious mind. So they're injecting this auditory thought. They're using what you already have. They're using something from the mental Rolodex. Like if you say, I won't eat something, you know, a parasite or the will of another could use the words, I eat something, and take that and use it to manipulate it, to make the alchemy, to trigger the alchemy, to get something started, to get the thought started, and to constantly, again, the thought will come through, it'll revolve around you. Again, like the earth we are, like the planets we are, the stars we are, whatever the case may, whatever you want to call us. We have, you know, things revolve around us, we revolve around things. So when you have a thought injected into the subconscious, it's going to make its lap. And you just have to get to a point where it's, you know, you can just kick that comment out of its revolution around you. All I'm saying is with Inception and trauma, a lot of times they go hand in hand, because you're not being shown the whole thing. You're being shown what this other will wants you to see to a certain degree, and then traumatized to where you forget what would link you to your true self. So then you wake up tired because you've been giving off fear and anxiety for however long you've been giving that off, because it's not a time thing when you slip into other realms. It could be, like people say, you know, I woke up 40, I woke up, you know, it was months later and I had, you know, drank away months, or whatever the case may be, because time's irrelevant when we're talking about something like this, because it's all a now. So you might have been giving off fear and anxiety energies for however long this you want to call it, and you wake up exhausted and lethargic because you were giving off so much energy. So, and then you're waking up a little further from yourself because your energy's low, your will's broken. The will and the self, and the body are not aligned. They're not in alignment. So, you know, things can creep in. And again, if you wake up and eat some garbage, your pancreas will again be distracted, and things will just manifest even more, and you're creating even more of a cycle that is just disastrous. Recipe for disaster. So, with Inception, it just feels like a sneaking suspicion about something. You got to question yourself. You know, ask yourself, do I really want this? Do I really want to do this? Is this really for me? Is this really, truly myself talking here, or is this a false self? Is this my body? Is this coming through the body? You know, is it being shown to me, or do I hear it? You know, that's kind of what it comes down to with auditory and visual thinking. Auditory being the body, injection into the body, and visual being from the true self.